Today we are delving into the fascinating history of one of the most beloved instruments, the violin. But before we dive in, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay tuned for more videos like this one. Long before the violin became the violin, an Arabic instrument called the rebab dominated the string instrument world. This bowed instrument typically had two strings made of silk. Soon it morphed into the rebec, which was even more like the violin. It was played under the chin and had between 1 and 5 strings, which were tuned a fifth apart. These instruments found their way into Europe through trade routes. Not to be outdone, these Europeans took these ancient instruments and put their own spin on them. One of the earliest European versions of a string instrument was the French violin, which had 5 strings in a similar shape to the modern violin. The violin was popular in Europe for a while, but they kept itching to advance their instruments. Soon, an even better option emerged, kicking the violin to the curb, the lira de braccio. De braccio means on the arm in Italian, showing that this instrument was also played under the chin like a modern violin. This was the first string instrument to use a sound post, and it had a bigger sound than the violin due to its hourglass shape. Why are we talking about these random instruments, you might ask? Well, because each instrument added important new steps to constructing string instruments, paving the way for the violin to take over. This brings us to 16th century Cremona, Italy, the birthplace of the violin. Nobody really knows who created the first violin, because it doesn't exist today, but we do know the name Andrea Amanti, the maker of the oldest surviving violin, which dates all the way back to 1564. Amanti is credited with standardizing the shape and size of the modern violin. Drawing on, but differing from its predecessors, the violin he manufactured was an hourglass-shaped wooden instrument with 4 strings, each spaced a fifth apart, a curved soundboard, and F-holes on top, which produced a powerful sound when played with the horsehair bow. Andrea Amanti passed down his violin-making wisdom down to his sons, leading to his grandson, Niccolò Amanti. Unfortunately for Andrea, most people who know the name Amanti think of Niccolò rather than his grandfather, because of the several key innovations he made in violin making. Prized for their tonal quality and playability, Niccolò's instruments had a longer shape and a more refined arc, leading to better projection. But even Niccolò isn't as well known as his purported student, Antonio Stradivari, who still reigns as the most famous household name in violin. But before we learn more about him, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Stradivari was very much influenced by Amanti, but he also took some of his own innovative liberties with the violin. Stradivari was kind of an overachiever, and by kind of, I mean he was a huge one. He used only the finest sources of wood, spent countless hours poring over the details of his designs, and was extremely consistent. His instruments tended to have a darker and more resonant sound, far superior to others of the time. The secret behind Antonio Stradivari's unmatched sound quality has puzzled experts for centuries. Some theories suggest that the Little Ice Age in Europe, which occurred during Stradivari's time, led to slow tree growth, resulting in denser wood that produced superior resonance in his instruments. Whatever the reason, most violinists agree that the surviving Stradivari violins, of which there are about 650, have only improved over time because of their already unique sound quality increasing due to the aged wood. Go ahead and guess how much a Stradivari violin costs. I don't know what your number was, but I bet it wasn't in the millions. The most expensive violin in the world is a 1716 Stradivari, and is currently estimated to be worth about $20 million. Not the kind of item most musicians can afford, which may be why it's on display at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. Over time, more luthiers picked up the craft of violin making, speeding up the production of violins as they became more and more popular. As we entered the Baroque era, in the 17th and 18th centuries, composers like Antonio Vivaldi, Johann Sebastian Bach, and Arcangelo Corelli wrote some of their most renowned works for the violin. further cementing its importance in classical music. Ever heard of the Four Seasons? That's one of the pieces that put virtuoso violin playing on the map. As music styles evolved, so did the violin. In the 19th century, the violin underwent several modifications to improve its sound and playability. With all those notes, something needed to be done to make playing it a little easier. Innovations like the chin rest, the tailpiece, and the fine-tuning pegs helped violinists handle the instrument with greater ease and comfort, allowing for more expressive performances. The world of classical music has been graced by numerous virtuoso violinists whose extraordinary talent and artistry have left audiences stunned and set the bar extremely high for aspiring violinists. Among the most famous virtuoso violinists, Niccolò Paganini stands as an iconic figure. Renowned for his unparalleled technical prowess, he astonished audiences with his dazzling performances during the 19th century, earning him the nickname the Devil's Violinist, because nobody thought it was possible to do what he did on the instrument. Another luminary is Yasha Heifetz, whose flawless technique and incomparable tone set new standards for violin playing in the 20th century. Heifetz's interpretations of classical masterpieces were revered for their emotional depth and sheer brilliance. Though his technique was perfect, he really showed the world that the violin was about more than just flash. Itzhak Perlman, a contemporary virtuoso, has captivated audiences with his warm and expressive playing, becoming one of the most beloved violinists of our time. These virtuosos, along with a host of other extraordinary talents, have expanded the boundaries of violin performance and left an enduring legacy that continues to inspire and enchant audiences worldwide. Today, the violin has been used in virtually all types of music, including jazz, folk, rock, and world music. Iconic rock bands like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones incorporated violins into some of their tracks, expanding the instrument's cultural influence. And let's not forget YouTube and TikTok. Go watch a 4-year-old shred on the violin. It'll make even the most accomplished person question their life choices. Thanks for watching my video on this incredible instrument. For more content like this, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel.